There we go. Hello, everyone. Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritzma here with a breaking news, breaking severe weather update. This one is going to be in the Upper Peninsula today. We got a severe thunderstorm warning that just popped in from the National Weather Service in Marquette. This is all the way up, again, in the central UP. If you zoom out, look at the rest of the state. This is pretty far away. But for those who are in the path of the storm, this is going to be for portions of Marquette and Baraga counties. Let's go ahead and dive into the details. National Weather Service in Marquette has issued this severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Iron County and west central Marquette County and north central Upper Peninsula of Michigan and southeastern Baraga County until 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central Time. This does cross two time zones here. At 5:01 p.m. Eastern, 4:01 p.m. Central, severe thunderstorm was located near Michigami or 23 miles southeast of Lance, moving southeast at 5 miles per hour. This is going to include 60 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. This is radar indicated. Expect hail damage to vehicles and wind damage to roof siding and trees. Locations impacted include Michigami, Champion, Squaw Lake, Lake Michigami, Witch Lake, Three Lakes, Republic, Humboldt, and Van Riper State Park. For your protection, move to interior room on the lowest floor of a building. If on or near Lake Michigami, get away from the water and move indoors or inside a vehicle. And remember, lightning can strike within 15 miles of a storm. So this is your severe thunderstorm warning shown on the screen. We'll go ahead and loop it for you. Got a special weather statement right off the bat. It took a little bit, but this is formed on a little bit of a boundary/lake breeze off of Lake Superior. And we get a lot of funky things that can happen when you got a lake breeze involved. If we switch it over to our velocity, the winds were peaking a little bit in previous scans. As of right now, we're not seeing too many bright reds and bright greens compared to previous scans. Go ahead and stop it here and take it frame by frame. Looks like there's a little bit of a downburst here just a couple miles south of Michigami. This was around, let's see, that's going to be 48. So it's going to be about 20 minutes ago there. Now it's moved over towards the state line, or the county line, south of Michigami. The brighter greens, brighter reds have dissipated a little bit. There's still some decent coloring in there for reds, but the main factor here is going to be your vertically integrated liquid, which shows off where the hail core is at in this storm. Take a look and go back to when the storm is near Nestoria. You can see it's pretty small, but then when you move about into the, this will be about the 4:45 time frame, it really just exploded there between Nestoria and Michigami. And then this hail indicator right here, that is a triangle that says 3. Now, obviously, this is just what the radar thinks is happening based on all the data that's coming in from the radar site in Marquette, that this could be up to 3-inch hail possible falling here south of Michigami, which is kind of crazy on a day where there's only supposed to be general thunderstorms. But it goes to show you here in Michigan, we get surprises all the time. We switch it over to our correlation coefficient radar to really confirm where the hail is falling. We're looking at values here or colors here of yellows, greens, and maybe even some blues mixing in the middle of a storm, which is denoted by this kind of reddish purplish shade. Again, anywhere that's red and purple is uniform objects in the atmosphere tumbling around that's meteorological in sense. So that'd be raindrops and snowdrops. Once you get to the yellows and greens here, look at that hail core just explode over the far southeastern corner of Baraga County. That really put down a lot of hail, and it is continuing to fall here in our latest scan. So much needed severe thunderstorm warning for this cell. It really went boom, boom, boom in like 2 or 3 scans here in the matter of 5 minutes. So anywhere where you see this discoloring from this yellow and greens is where your hail is going to be happening. You can tell this is some large hail too, because we have what's called a third body scatter spike on the back side of this storm. So this third body scatter spike is basically data that's getting kind of deflected off into other directions on the back side of the storm. False sense of radar, I guess you could say, going on there. And what's happening is those hailstones are so big that it's causing this spike to be larger and larger off the backside of the storm. So this is like quite the big hail core here in far southeastern Baraga County, south of Michigami. And this is going to continue towards Republic in the half hour to come. Again, it's moving southeast at 5, so pretty slow. And with hail cores like this, they do like to kind of come down all at once in a matter of 5 to 15 minutes. So this could easily fall apart by around 5:15 to 5:20, but for the time being, it continues to put down some monster hail, perhaps, here across portions of Baraga and Marquette counties. Hey, Ryan. Let me see if you are coming in on my side.
Test right. 1, 2. I sure am.
Yes, you are. Let me bring your camera in. There we go.
There we go. I'm frozen.
Maybe something you have to fix on your end.
There we go.
So for those who are just tuning in, might be watching from the Lower Peninsula, this is an Upper Peninsula threat only. This severe thunderstorm warning includes portions of Baraga, Marquette, and even Iron County, which is in Central Time Zone. Very rural portions of Iron County, well away from Mesa and Crystal Falls. I forgot how you pronounce it. I know it's something else, but I'll figure it out. We got Republic and Champion in the direct path of this storm within the minutes to come. Again, moving southeast at 5, so it's honestly, Ryan, more likely the storm will fall apart before it even gets to these cities, given how slow it's moving. But at the current time, that does not show signs of happening. And so this is why the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect out in front of the storm to the southeast towards Republic.
Also wanted to note the interesting hook it has. Now, the rotation on the storm is quite minimal in nature, but it is still very impressive structure-wise with this particular cell. It's very classic, looking like a supercell. So hail is your main hazard with this. Wouldn't be shocked there's some gusty winds in there as well with that hail producing downburst type situations. But overall, the hail is definitely the highest concern with the storm as it progresses toward the Republic area and the M95 corridor. Currently located just south of Michigami, about to cross over into Marquette County.
I do want to go back and denote something here. And I was mentioning how, right at the start of the stream, how there was a burst in winds, likely a downburst. It is very likely that what happened here is there was so much hail that is what the entire downburst consists of here. Just denoting, if you go ahead and switch this over to CC on the left side here, all of that hail got flung out in front of the storm. So I would not be surprised if we had a hail-induced downburst here in Baraga County, moving into Marquette County now, but it looks like it's ending the majority of the heaviest of winds here. And winds, in quotation marks, mainly all hail that's falling down at a rapid speed. So haven't seen that in a while, but the hail got so large that caused its own downburst. Ryan is the guy below me. He is the president of Michigan Storm Chasers. He's waving.
This storm, according to the text of the warning, is moving to the southeast at 5 miles per hour. That means it is going very slowly. A typical storm in Michigan can move as much as 60, maybe 70 miles per hour at times. So when you have these slow moving storms, you're always keeping an eye out for both the hail risk, because hail over, or should I say large hail over a same area, very slow moving storm can produce some bigger size hail dents if there is large hail falling. But also want to take note that there could be some localized ponding of water on roadways as the storm progresses very slowly over the same areas. So keep that in mind if you are traveling in and around the storm, especially on the US 41 and M95 corridors. There's not too many roads out here. It's pretty rural. South of Michigami, there's some roads, but in the core of the storm, there's just not much going on there. Republic would be the next city on deck. And it's actually kind of expanding out to the southeast now with a little bit of a flying eagle look there with the rain shield progressing to the east. So it's about to start raining in Republic, but the core of the storm is still located about 10 to 15 miles off to your west-northwest. Also taking note, we have another cell popping up on the outflow of that storm to the west. It's going to be right on the Iron and Baraga County line.
This is our...
The vice president of MSC would be Chandler.
This was one of our first severe weather streams here in about 2 weeks.
Yep, it's been a while. Ironically, we've had to go live already for Indiana side today. They had this land spout down there today. And surprisingly, Michigan's turned now. Not a land spout, though, but still a severe storm here with the large hail threat continuing. The last severe stream, Joel, was September 22nd.
Yeah. So if you're down towards Ishpeming and Marquette, this storm is actually starting to tail away from you just a little bit. It's likely it's going to continue its southeastward movement, kind of following that boundary there. You can actually kind of see the boundary. We'll go ahead and stop it here, back it up a little bit. There's been a stationary boundary that's been draped across the center of the UP all day. And we have a lake breeze / outflow boundary on this cell here that it's formed over in Astoria and is kind of doing a double latching motion here where it's latching onto both of those boundaries, and it's taken off. It's basically double the lift, double the intensity, and we can see some crazy things happen out of this, including some monster hail that's likely falling south of Michigami.
Yeah, the hail tracker on this continues to be very impressive. It is maxed out on Radar Omega. On GR2, the hail size still up and over an inch. That is radar indicated from the radar software. I would definitely agree with that. The good news with this cell, though, is that it is over a sparsely populated area. So impacts are going to be quite minimal. But for those that are in the path of this, it will be still impactful, just nothing major population-wise in the path as this progresses toward the Republic. This is going to be just south of Lake Michigami, which is up here. But Republic, I'd say, should be on alert as the storm progresses. It is about to begin raining heavily. I'd say probably next 5 to 10 minutes. If that core continues, it will impact Republic in about 15 minutes or so.
Switch it over to
If you want to bring those,
the weather cam here real quick. This is from Christian Fellowship Churches of Nobbin Way up there, Nobbin Way, Michigan. This is going to be Mackinac County, far western Mackinac County. Does not really have the best view on this storm. You can kind of see off to the left, just barely there on the left side of the screen. Some tops of some cumulonimbus clouds there, and also a lot of nice colors up there too, just as a bonus in terms of the peak color for the fall.
Joe, I'm going to have you take my screen back here. I have a visual from Norway over in Dickinson County, and you can actually see the thunderhead, what I believe is thunderhead of this storm, way over here. And that is several miles away. In fact, I'll go ahead and get this measured out. We're talking, this storm is 54 miles to the north of Norway here. So that's a very impressive angle there. And also fall colors starting to turn up there in the UP as well. So thank you to Norway Mountain Ski Resort for this view.
Yes, they capture more than just Aurora. We do get storms up there in the UP. In fact, I think we've almost had more storms in the UP this summer than we've had downstate, at least in the second half of the summer. It just kind of feels that way, the way we've been kind of tracking all summer. In fact, our longest stream, for those who are maybe new here this summer, was looking back at, I believe, just over 11 hours in length. And that was with Drew and I one night where we had consistent severe thunderstorms ongoing in the UP. And that was quite a marathon. But here at Michigan Storm Chasers, we got you covered from beginning to end. And sometimes that does include some 12-hour streams. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to do so today. We cover every single severe warning in the state. Go back to the radar real quick.
Go for it.
Does appear like there might be some more winds trying to gust down here along that frontal edge of the forward flank downdraft on the edge of that boundary there. We also have a storm that's formed, as Ryan mentioned, on the back side of that boundary. Could nudge the storm, and that could induce some more lift and cause the storm to kind of have a second hail core here very soon. And as mentioned on the Norway cam, that has kind of a 1-2 feature to it, where you had the main storm and then that second storm popping up behind it. And that is exactly what we're seeing here on radar.
Zooming out of the current area, though, there's not much happening. There's a few cells around that down there in Iron County, as well as over in the Newberry and Germfask areas. Some lightning, maybe some very small pea-sized hail at best. There's some cells down there over Lake Michigan, but overall, there's just not much happening across the UP that would warrant attention. This is kind of a surprise severe situation. Nothing really is expected to become severe today, and coverage was expected to be quite limited in nature in terms of the thunderstorm coverage. So this should not be a long-lived or intense threat. But for the storm that is currently warned, it is certainly producing some larger hail that is likely impactful for those that are in the path of it.
The radar scans today are about 5 to 6 minutes apart, so we do have a lot of waiting ongoing here as we keep getting more and more continuous radar updates. And as a reminder, we're looking at base reflectivity radar now, so we're switched back to what the intensity of the rainfall is doing out there. So you see those lighter blues, those lighter greens, that's your light rain. And you move into the reds and the pinks, and obviously that's going to be the center of your core and where the heaviest of the rain is falling. And you see there in the loop, there was a little bit of whites and blacks showing as well. That is where you get up towards 65 to 70 dBz, which can be some very, very large raindrops. And in some cases, when we look at our CC radar, some large hail. And that is exactly what's happening right now as the cell continues into Marquette County at a speed of walking 5 miles per hour.
Not too often we say this storm is traveling at walking speeds, but
right.
This one is it's an exception.
So if you're in your Republic and you have no mode of transportation to get out of the way, you could technically walk to get out of the way, but please don't do that.
Don't do that.
You could get struck by lightning, especially since the storm is within 15 miles of Republic. So if you are in Republic, make sure to take shelter indoors, into your room just to make sure, away from windows, especially if there is some wind-driven hail ongoing with this cell. Again, 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1-inch hail, the main hazard with this storm. The tornado risk is basically none. There's no tornadoes mentioned in this severe thunderstorm warning. But hail and winds can do just as much damage as a tornado would. Keep that in mind. The storm motion vector on this, Ryan, is 304 at 6.
Say that one more time.
304 at 6.
Got you. Thank you.
Hovering over it with the mouse here, winds there in the center of the storm, downbursting to about 30 to 35 miles per hour at most. So I believe at this point it's kind of transitioning into more of a hail risk. 60-mile-per-hour winds is the minimum threshold for severe, so anything below that is still strong but not severe winds. Looking at CC, there is definitely still some hail falling in this storm. We have lost our third body scatter spike, but it does appear that hail is still falling, given CC is yellows and greens right in the middle of that. Chipmunk Road is where the center of this core is at. Rural roads out here. County Road, as well as there's 2 Chipmunk Roads here. County Road, LGA as well. New scan there just came in. The hail core is continuing to expand, and we do have a little bit of a nudger coming in on the backside of the storm. That cell keeps firing up off that boundary. What it does is it's going to nudge that storm forward, perhaps combine and cause double the lift and just an even stronger updraft that'll allow it to kind of peak at the top of the tropopause, and could see cloud tops here very soon of maybe 40 to 50,000 feet. I haven't checked them yet, but I would imagine they're already pretty tall.
I can check it for you. Give me a second.
Yeah, it looks like they're already at 40,000, so kind of sustaining that updraft. We have a little bit of that nudger coming in from the backside.
Yeah, we're about 46,000 feet.
Yeah.
So That backside storm is also blossoming very nicely.
Mhm.
And the hail marker on the GR2 product is starting to increase as well.
Yep.
And looking at the height of that hail core, it is looking like it's increasing once again.
You can do is take a 3D scan behind the scenes here. Yeah, that hail core is up to 30,000. That's crazy. See if I can get that over here on my screen.
Yeah, it's very, very potent at the 20,000 foot mark. And it's very impressive. Very impressive.
Does not want to pop up. Okay. I wish I could get it to pop up. But yeah, here at MSC, we have a way to look at the 3D slice of this storm behind the scenes. And those purples, which are the heaviest of raindrops, if you think about it, it gets colder as you go up in the atmosphere. And when you get those really big raindrops, it's really easy to make those become super cooled versus, smaller raindrops. So when you get up into the middle of the tropopause, that's when you can get those larger raindrops becoming hailstones, and they'll just accrete on top of each other, and then they could just keep making these bigger and bigger masses, and eventually they become heavy enough where they fall out. And when you have, like I keep mentioning here, storms that continue to fill it in from the backside, the nudgers, that's when you get sustained updrafts and sustained hailstorms over and over and over again. So we're continuing to watch the storm as it moves towards Republic at a walking speed. But Republic, you've had your warning now for 20 minutes, and it's just going to continue to head your way. Well, we have a moment while the next radar scan comes in. Shout out over here on YouTube to Pridonia for becoming an EF2 member, and Mike for the $1.99 super chat. Thank you both.
What is your question? Yeah, I got that merge going on now.
Yep.
Be curious to see what happens with it. Also, was there two boundaries colliding there? Or I guess it's just one. Well, it kind of looks like there's two there for a brief second.
There is a kind of like a dynamic boundary ongoing today. It's not associated with the lakes, and also a lake breeze. So there's like double boundaries ongoing right now. And that storm happens to be on both of them. So 2 sources of lift plus a third cell coming in behind. That could be 3 sources of lift for this one cell heading into Republic, and it's just going to keep going probably for at least the next hour. The question was, were we in a SPC convective outlook for any severe weather today? The answer is no. We were just in a normal thunderstorm category. And here at MSC, we do also release our in-house forecasts. And while we did mention small hail in our forecast today, did not expect it to be bigger than small hail. So this is kind of out of left field. And again, values up to about 1 inch in diameter, so a little bit higher than forecasted today. And no one really saw it coming, but that's just the Michigan surprise for you.
It's not uncommon to get surprises like this. We see it every year. On days where we don't think stuff's going to happen, it happens. Mm-hmm. On days where we think stuff will happen, nothing happens. So that's just the beauty of weather. And if we knew what was going to happen every day, we wouldn't have a need for people like us or meteorologists in general or any other person to tell you what's going to happen. Because if we knew, we wouldn't have a need. So that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Fun fact about this storm, not so fun fact, I guess you could say. This is the only severe thunderstorm warning in the entire nation right now. So no other severe weather ongoing in the United States. The UP of Michigan is the #1 spot.
Yeah, and also want to take note with the storm as well. There is, on radar at least, the lightning with this storm is not very intense. I see 6 strikes on GR2, and I see like 3 on Omega. So it doesn't appear the storm is producing prolific lightning. Just occasional strikes here and there.
Don't let that deceive you, though.
Sometimes.
This is definitely still a severe thunderstorm.
Oh yeah, for sure. You don't have to have lightning and thunder for it to be severe. My first ever tornado intercept in Michigan was on a storm with no lightning on it.
Yep.
So it just goes to show you. Will there be any more tornadoes? Lily, not with this storm. I can't say for the rest of the year. I could say the historical chances of more tornadoes is low, but we've seen tornadoes in Michigan every year, every month of the year before, so it is possible. Chances though are much lower than it is in summertime and spring. Republic, it is approaching you. It is likely raining now, and the core is about, I estimate, about 4 miles to your west northwest of town. So with a track of about 10, 15 miles an hour, it puts you in about 4 minutes or so, 5 minutes.
Ryan, I'm not sure if you're mathing on that one.
Probably not.
Well, you said 10 miles per hour, 4 miles outside of town. Wait. Maybe my math's not
I think you're
mathing.
backwards.
Maybe
It'll be
10
in
miles
town
per
soon.
hour. Yeah.
Bottom line.
But again, the warning's been going on for already a half hour, so we've already had a half-hour warning. If you haven't taken shelter yet, and pulling the, I guess you could say, the Midwestern dad and sitting on the porch and watching it roll in, at some point, probably want to get out of the rocking chair and head inside. But again, being about 5 minutes outside of town here, 5 to 10 minutes outside of town, it's on your doorstep now, and there's not too much lightning, as Ryan mentioned, but again, one strike and you're out. That's all I need.
This warning is in effect for 29 more minutes. That is an expiration time of 6 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Central. There is a county included with this warning that is in Central Time. That would be Iron County. As far as that goes, Baraga and Marquette County remains in Eastern Time.
Looking at mesoanalysis behind the scenes, for those who don't know what mesoanalysis is, basically like the cheat codes of what's happening in the atmosphere. There is a little bit of low-level spin out there, but this storm that we're looking at right now is not as much surface-based, and so it's not really tapping into its weak rotation at the surface. But the storm that's off to its left is surface-based, but it's only acting as I keep mentioning here, as a nudger, so it's nudging into the backside of the storm and allowing it to continue continuous strength, continuous updrafts ongoing. Ryan has disappeared. Another good mention here in chat from some of our moderators. If you are watching up here in Republic, west of Republic, south of Michigami, Lake Michigami, and you have hail reports you want to send in, please send those in to us ASAP. We will relay those over to the National Weather Service Marquette. You can message us on Facebook. You can put it in the comments of the feed here on the well, don't put it in the stream, but put it in one of our comments. Let us know what you're seeing. We'll take normal pictures as well. Otherwise, we do have a damage report community on Facebook. It's called Michigan Weather Reports. That's the name of the group. Just type that in the search bar, join the community, and that is where you can send your damage reports. If you just have cool clouds, you have some cumulonimbus clouds you want to send in, a rainbow picture, Michigan Storm Community is the thing to search on Facebook there. So you have Messenger, you have the two groups. Also, we have Discord. So if you have a Discord account, you can join our Discord server, discord.gg/Michigan Storm Chasers. Anywhere in that orange box right now is the severe thunderstorm warning. You can see how it started as a special weather statement and quickly went severe warned. And it is in effect until 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central for those who are in Iron County. And of course, speaking of Iron County, they just trimmed it. So Iron County, you are no longer in the severe warning. You can see how that orange box has shrunk in size. So now it's basically just kind of honing in around Republic. Hail core looks like it's starting to fall apart a little bit. That is good news there. Hail core down to 20,000 feet now in the latest update. Likely continuing to let go of all its hail. And hopefully, at some point, this warning can expire early if it continues to fall apart. Thank you, Landon, for that report. Our sole reporter, it seems, up there in Republic, saying there's some heavy rain there. Decent amount of moisture up there today. Dew points in the 50s, maybe even 60s in some spots. So that'll allow these storms to be a little bit surface-based. Instability-wise, it's sitting in 2,000 joules of surface-based CAPE, so that's a lot of instability there. It's kind of the general fuel measurement of how much fuel is in the atmosphere. When you see values over 1,000, it's sufficient enough for severe weather, and we have 2,000 today, so pretty strong. But as these storms continue off to the east, looking at our meso-analysis behind the scenes, it does look like there's a little bit of a capping inversion coming into play as you get closer to central and then eastern UP. You have a lot of micro-scale features kind of coming into play here with the lakes at play. And so it's going to be harder to sustain these storms as they're going to get squeezed in between Lake Superior and Lake Michigan. Current time right now is 5:36 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching at the bottom of the screen, that time is lined up and you are watching live. If you're watching within 30 seconds, probably still live, but if you are watching, your clocks are about a minute or two behind, feel free to refresh the stream. Again, I'm Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritzma, alongside Ryan, who is behind the scenes now, taking care of some business. And we'll be live here until this warning expires. Details remain 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch hail. Tornado is not possible with this one, at least at the current time. So hopefully it stays that way. Still moving southeast at 5. Some lightning has upticked in the last couple of minutes here. Rotation just kind of weak. We're looking for these reds on this radar on the right side of your screen, these reds and greens that are close together. And the brighter the reds and greens are, the stronger the rotation would be. But the only thing we have going is the reds and greens close to each other, but they're not bright. So good news there. Still rotating just ever so slightly, but the main hazard remains large hail. And as soon as I say that, we get a scan update for rotation. It does look like it's trying to maybe get its act together a little bit. Yeah, it's getting fueled right there in that surface-based boundary is the forward flank of the storm there. Some weather terminology dropping for you. Got the boundary. Got some inflow winds kind of getting sucked into the south side of the storm. Right here. We look right where that notch is at. So right in that general location, about 2 or 3 miles to the west of Republic. That notch is at. So we would be looking for perhaps a little bit of rotation. In fact, when we switch it over to our velocity, that's exactly where it matches up. Thank you, Matthew. Matt's in chat here, our video guy. Make sure to say hi to Matt. Also got Matt. Also got a lot of our chasers in here today. We've got Ben, got some of our mods behind the scenes. We've got Mike and Julie. And just hanging out, watching a severe storm roll into Marquette County, and it's now in Marquette County pretty much fully at this point. heading ever so closely to the M95 corridor. Center of this core is on an unnamed road, heading towards, goes by two names, County Road LB and 18 Road. It's the same name, which is a
two-track roads up here. Looks
yes, for sure. That's a good point Janelle makes in chat here on YouTube. Probably a lot of tourists up there this time of the year with the fall colors. You saw it in our live stream. We had our weather cameras pulled up from Nobbinway and Twin Lakes, and the colors are pretty close to, if not at peak, for these portions of the UP up here, especially central and western UP this time of the year. So everyone's trying to go see them. All of a sudden, suddenly, boom, severe thunderstorm moving through one of the main roads across the UP that goes north-south. Pretty much connects, if you're coming in from Wisconsin, from Iron Mountain to Marquette. That's the main road to travel. So if you're traveling from Iron Mountain to Marquette or vice versa, watch out along M95 here, south of Champion, heading into Republic.
I do have that Twin Lakes cam pulled up if you want to take it for fall colors.
Yep.
Nice shot there. Looking to the northeast here, courtesy of Krups Resort. Have to watch that cell behind the cell. Looks like the hail core is growing on that, although it doesn't appear to be growing in size, or should I say height. Okay, latest scan weakened it out just a bit, but it did have a nice core on that for a few.
Yeah. Storms over in Luce and Schoolcraft County have kind of blown up and starting to kind of stay neutrally buoyant here. Strongest cell that's continuing its updraft is going to be north of Germfast, but for the majority of these storms are kind of just staying sustained. We switch back to our storms over here in Republic. The radar that you're looking at right now that looks like just a eyesore is our ZDR radar, and it shows you where the storms are positively, negatively, or neutrally buoyant. And anywhere where you see the hot reds and the hot pinks in here in the middle of the storms, those are your updraft strength, or that's your strongest updraft strength. The blues and the greens are going to be your negatively buoyant, or negative buoyancy, meaning the storms are falling down quicker than they're going up. So just another neat tool that we use behind the scenes here, or I guess not behind the scenes, so we're showing it to you guys, but ZDR radar. Jeff in chat here saying this area is remote. We are getting ready to kick off football in Rapid River. We'll be watching your channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. As right, it is Friday Night Lights tonight. A lot of games kicking off at 7 p.m. The MHSAA rules do state that if a lightning strike occurs or thunder is being heard at a event, that they have to postpone for 30 minutes, and the timer continues to reset at 30 minutes until the last lightning strike / thunder rumble was seen / heard. Let's keep that in mind tonight. And good luck to all football teams out there playing tonight.
Latest couple scans has weakened that storm quite a bit, actually. The core of it is not very as potent or as tall as it once was, but still a decent looking storm up to about 20,000 feet, which is still quite tall. The warning expires at 6 p.m. Eastern, so about 16 more minutes. Yes, this is the only storm that is currently severe in the state of Michigan and should be the only storm that's severe today. Of course, I don't want to jinx it, but it's not a huge concern today that these storms become strong or severe. This storm is kind of random, so to speak.
I just knocked on wood, just in case. Best ways to receive warning when you do get severe warnings. This goes for everybody across the state. If you're watching today and you might be far and away, it's good to prepare for 2026 when severe weather kind of ramps back up again. Or if we have, more storms here in the fall, obviously October, November, we can still get severe weather downstate as well. Weather radios, Midland Weather Radios. I'm not sure if Ryan has his nearby if he wants to show his off, but Midland Weather Radios are about 40 or 50 bucks. You can buy them at any local hardware store, Ace, Walmart, Home Depot, probably Lowe's, or you can get them on Amazon or just the direct website, Midland Weather Radio. If not, obviously following us here at Michigan Storm Chasers is another good option. We're live for every single severe warning, so if we're not live, then there's no severe weather happening in the state. It's kind of a good rule of thumb. You can obviously download some apps on your phone. There's a lot of free apps out there, such as Emergency by the Red Cross and the FEMA app. Those push free alerts for you. Of course, local news stations are also tracking these storms live right now, probably as well. There's a bunch of different options for you in the day and age of technology. It's readily available for everybody. And again, weather radio is going to be your number one option because they run off battery if you do lose power. Nice. Definitely want to invest in a Midland Weather Radio if you haven't had one. Always encourage you guys to tune in, but obviously cell service can be limited during severe weather events, so kind of use those weather radios as your last mode of defense. Back to the storm, though. It's pretty much in Republic now, like the center of the core. It's been waiting forever and ever. It's been just to show you how slow this storm has been moving. It's warned about or just over 45 minutes ago. We've been live now for 44 minutes and 30 seconds. 45 minutes the storm has been moving the span of like 10 to 15 miles from Baraga County into Marquette County. It's finally on the doorstep. Going back to CC radar. Still a little bit of discoloring happening here just to the west of Republic. Still right there on the County Road 601. Pretty much crossing over M95 now. Wind-wise, go switch to velocity. A little bit of light rotation in there, but nothing to kind of write home about. And it's also kind of out in front of the storm, so it could be more in the mode of clear air. There's nothing to really worry about there. Hail, though, is still going to be a concern. This warning does expire in 12 minutes. Go ahead and zoom just downstate real quick just to check in on if there is any precipitation. I know there was a couple showers that were popping up in southwest Michigan, and there are. If you're in Cass and St. Joseph County, a couple showers rolling through right now. South of Vandalia and Marcellus. Nothing severe expected there. The only severe, if anything, today is going to be up here along the boundary in central and eastern UP, where the cap is just weak enough for a severe storm to kind of squeak through and take off. That's exactly what we're seeing. I'm knock on wood again. It does look like we're losing a lot of our pinks, our heavier raindrops in this storm.
If you look at the core as well with height, it is coming down. So it looks like it is collapsing.
Looking at the 3D scan, there's one little skinny pocket of pinks that go up to about 20,000 feet. Like a tiny little hill core just still holding on there. So I would imagine they're probably just going to let this warning run its course, automatically expire at 6 o'clock instead of canceling it early, just because there is a little bit of influence from the nearby boundaries that are continuing to keep this updraft sustained. If we switch over to ZDR again, there is still a decent amount of reds popping up for positive buoyancy over Republic. So this updraft is sustaining itself pretty well right now, plus the storm that's nudging it from the behind, or from the backside, excuse me. And it's going to just continue to roll over M95. Yeah, Midland Weather Radio does release different radio types. They have a lot of different ones. I just know that the WR-120 is the one we recommend because it's pretty cheap and it's pretty reliable. So
They have handheld, they have battery, crank, they have a lot of options. So if you have certain needs, they also have a pillow shaker for those who may be hard of hearing or deaf.
yep.
So they have quite a few options.
I guess for those who are just tuning in, the severe thunderstorm warning is in the UP, portions of Baraga and Marquette counties. A little off and away from downtown Marquette, downtown Ishpeming for sure. And we did have it on our live cam a short while ago. How's it looking now from Norway Mountain there?
Give me a second, I'll pull it up. I was going to say, the one, actually, go ahead and pull me up now. I was going to say, if you go further east over to the eastern UP, there is a storm moving in the Nobbinway area. This is facing north from Nobbinway at Christian Fellowship Churches. So we got a nice little storm there to the north, and then backing out of that and taking a tour across the state. Let's go ahead and find our good old Norway cam, which is right over here. Go ahead and get this the high quality, and you can see that's a beautiful updraft. Go ahead and zoom in with this.
Yeah, look at the anvil on the right side.
Nice little, nice anvil there. And nice, looks like the second storm back there is still going up. So very nice.
And we did talk about the tropopause. What's happening there is those clouds are so tall, they're hitting the top of the tropopause, which is a stable layer in the atmosphere. It's what we call basically an atmospheric inversion, atmospheric cap. So usually you can have surface-based atmospheric inversions, but the tropopause itself, the top of it, is one giant cap. And that's why storms can never go shooting up into space, is because you have the tropopause at the top of the tropopause. So that storm is hitting basically the ceiling of our lowest level of the atmosphere there, and it's just spreading out in all directions. So it's pretty cool to see. And that's usually a telltale sign of a very strong severe thunderstorm, and that is exactly what we're having out there today. With those storms in question that were on the Nobbinway camera, here's Nobbinway down here along the north shore of Lake Michigan. I almost said Huron. It's pretty close to Lake Huron, but Lake Michigan. Looking north, these are the cells that were showing signs of perhaps some pea-sized tail. They're kind of just staying together and not doing a whole lot right now. So probably some decent downpours ongoing for sure. Not much in the way of lightning. These are continuing to trek across M28 through Newberry and towards Hulbert, which is in Chippewa County, Michigan. Chippewa and Luce County. Also, if anyone's watching, let me know how the mic sounds. I am wearing my wireless mic today. If it sounds like it's popping, I'll try to turn it down perhaps. It looks like it's maxing just a little bit. I don't want to break anyone's eardrums, especially for those who are listening with headphones in. Good news though, just rolling in now, our severe thunderstorm warning is being canceled 5 minutes early. You see the orange box disappear here in the next scan. But you can see at the bottom of the screen, the orange bar has disappeared, meaning the severe warning has expired. We're back to all clear operations. Sweet. I love when it sounds crisp.
Love to see it.
We love when the mic sounds good. We love when the warnings expire. If it goes warned again, it'll be over pretty much rural portions of Marquette County for a while. That boundary is kind of draped across the Princeton, Trinity region north of Rock. And in fact, you can actually see it's kind of heading down towards Northland now too. That storm is going to kind of follow that gradient there, as I keep mentioning. So I would not be surprised if it goes warned again, but I think for now, we'll probably hop off, seeing that there's not really any other storms close to severe, knock on wood. Unless you're seeing differently here, Ryan. VIL across the state.
I agree with you 100%.
Okay. Well then, we will go ahead and run through our sponsors. Again, we can't do these live streams without our sponsors. They're a big reason as to why we are able to do this 24/7, 365 days a year. So when we read these off, feel free to support them. Write down the phone numbers. And as always, if you missed them, obviously you can go back and rewind the stream. They're obviously always going to be scrolling up here at the top of the screen during any of our severe live streams. So feel free to write them down as we go through them. Starting off with Storm Guard Roofing and Construction. Based out of Southeast Michigan there, North Metro Detroit. Got Lifestyle Exteriors. They're based out of the Central Michigan region. Got Katz Roofing and Siding as well, also based out of Lansing and Potterville. Got Mike Hayes Roofing and Construction. Mike Hayes Roofing and Siding for all of your exterior construction needs in Sanilac, St. Clair counties. McKay Tree Specialists. Number there on the screen, based out of Southeast Michigan. And for West Michigan, Kuiper Tree Care. Also have FBI Buildings for all your barndominium needs. On Top Roofing, based out of Livingston County, our Patreon sponsor. Schneider Commercial Building Solutions for all of your commercial roofing needs, and Shield Public Adjusters for all of your insurance adjustment needs, both of those companies based out of Lansing. Top Gun Roofing and Exteriors, based out of West Michigan. A-Class Construction Restoration, based out of Mason County. Rapid Radios, based out of it's a West Michigan-based company. It's our number one sponsor for all of our behind-the-scenes radio communications here at Michigan Storm Chasers. Guardian Technologies, you've seen our webcams used in this stream today. Those are courtesy of Guardian. They're based out of Burton. Got the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Detroit. You can donate by calling the number on the screen there. American Arbor, based out of Southwest Michigan. And finally, Apex Restoration, based out of Grand Blanc, servicing the thumb of Michigan. We don't have too many Upper Peninsula sponsors, but if you are an Upper Peninsula business and you would love to become a sponsor for the winter season or for 2026, Ryan, I would imagine email Andrew or Chandler, correct?
Chandler would be the contact for Michigan. Chandler at MichiganStormChasers.com would be the email.
There you go. So yes, if you would like to become a sponsor in the UP, the door is wide open for you guys up there. Email Chandler.
I will also say this as well. Tomorrow and Sunday, we will be opening the sponsor window for 2026. So if you want a business anywhere in the state of Michigan, doesn't matter what you do, if you want to become a trusted partner with us, you can feel free to message the page directly or reach out to Chandler. Same email, Chandler at MichiganStormChasers.com.
There you go. But as you can see here, the orange box flashing off the screen. Got you covered from beginning to end. We are now at the end of our severe weather coverage. We'll call it part one, just in case. Just going to say that right now, just in case. If it goes warned again, we'll be back live, so make sure you are subscribed here on YouTube or following on Facebook. We're also, if you have a Twitch account or an X account, we are also simultaneously live on those as well. Our username on any social media, as always, is at MIStormChasers. And we do more than live coverage. We do forecasts, we do weather disaster relief, we do weather education, you name it. Anything weather related, we cover it in Michigan, and even aurora chances here in Michigan, which it's been an active week across the state of Michigan, so we will post aurora updates on our page as well. But for now, I'm Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritzma, signing off with the president of MSC, Ryan, down there below me. Hope you have a great rest of your evening here on this Friday night, October 3rd, and we'll catch you next time here at Michigan Storm Chasers for another live severe weather stream. Take it easy, everyone. We'll catch you soon.